Nice. Love having my muted myself as soon as I started recording. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Achilles Safe Haven. Today we have with us Josh from Blockriders. He's here to discuss his project. Guys, as always, AMAs are not financial advice. These are opportunities to learn and ask questions about the project. Josh, thanks for joining us, man. Take it away.
Thanks a lot. Again, thanks for having me. I think I was having an AMA with you around 2 months ago for a different project. This is what's come from that. For the past, I'd say it was about 4 weeks ago now, we launched Blockriders and started building a NFT racing game. And so far, where we're at now is we have like a really early access kind of version out. We've got the B&B integration is live and working. There's a few features that we're still kind of working around, but we felt like the best push really was to get that proof of concept out, where there's so many blockchain games now that they promise the integration, and so often you either just get leaderboards or it doesn't quite come through. So I feel like that was a good point for us, was to get that across, that we can do the integration and that it is there. But yeah, sorry, I kind of pulled away from it there. We're making an NFT racing game, which is best suited, really. Our vision is more focused on onboarding like traditional gamers onto the blockchain and into the Binance ecosystem. So I guess our biggest sell there is that we're perfectly situated to kind of gamify that process of, a user will turn up, they'll create an account, and then they'll do a quick practice lap where you'll get the standard, how to move WASD. You can switch your skins on the fly. Your skins are NFTs. And after they come out of there, it'll be, once they finish that race, they'll get like a great job. Let's set up your wallet. They'll get some points along with that, some character progression, and we'll give them a free NFT as well. But yeah, that's kind of where we're heading with it. We want to onboard people that don't necessarily think of the blockchain, of what it could be. And they're thinking more along the lines of, what gaming companies have done so far, which hasn't really worked out so great. So I feel like we're in a really good place right now to showcase all those things.
Cool. Okay, so as far as the game goes, is it completed?
It's not fully complete. There is a couple of things that we want to add, but you can play it on the website now. You can play, because we've got some test tracks up there, which we're still kind of figuring out. I want to make sure that the community really gets a full say, and we're using the build we've currently got to gather feedback and to make sure critically, that the B&B integration works properly, so we don't just get a slew of refund requests. But so far, everything's worked flawlessly. We're just tidying up the UI, and we'll have an early access ready to be heavily marketed by the end of this week.
Oh, okay. Well, that's exciting. How long did you say you guys have launched? Like 2 months, 3 months?
It was on 4 weeks ago, I think.
Oh, 4 weeks, yeah. Well, that's a lifetime for you guys.
It seems like it, and hey, we had a baby 2 days ago.
Oh,
so
no way.
It's felt like a lifetime, but it's over the past couple of days, everything's really kind of come together. I've been doing little bits where I can, and then tying it together to release a big update for the community. It makes you feel like you haven't just wasted 4 weeks doing little things, doing 10% of a million different things. It's good to see them all come together nicely. So we're pretty happy about that.
That is awesome, man. And yeah, this is the best time, better time than ever then, to get to work, huh?
Oh yeah.
You got the little one now.
Oh
All
yeah,
right.
just as you get no sleep.
Yeah, no, I know all about it, man. Mine's 5, and I started school this year. First time, I cried like a baby. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
so, where are you guys from? Like, how big is your team?
Our team is right. So right now, I'm building mostly all of everything, and we have my wife who is our community manager, and we have Kennedy. But mostly we have a community kind of a team. Uh, we have people that have backed us since the very beginning, people that I've known for a long time, that you know wanted to come out and support this. That's the kind of a team we have. But as far as the core team goes, as far as the development goes, that is me.
Okay, right on. Are you the game developer as well? Did you design the game?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay. What's some difficulties that you've had with that?
Um, it's Mostly it's working out the sustainability when you want to gamify. Like what I wanted to do originally is, when you open up Clash of Clans or a game like that, you go through like a bit of a tutorial, which always feels long-winded for me. So I want there to be a skip button fairly early on, but at the same time, I want people to kind of go through a step-by-step progression where they'll get their MetaMask wallet and things like that, which is inspired to me by Axie. That's a similar thing to what they did. And at each step, to kind of push users along and to keep them, wanting to do it, they give them something. I wanted to give them some tokens, and we can partner with other projects and potentially show them during this onboarding stage. But it's how to make our biggest hurdle has been how to make all of that sustainable. How do we give tokens away
Hmm.
so freely? And the answer is that it's very, very difficult to do. So we're going to rely on NFTs, our skins in the game to change your car skin. They're all based on NFTs. Which, as a little side note, we did a run of 500 NFTs. They sold out in 10 minutes. So the community is there. We're all we're all definitely waiting.
All right. Very nice. So, yeah, as far as giving away tokens, man, that's a double-edged sword. It can
That
obviously
it
bring
is.
investors, and it'll also bring you people to just dump that as the moment that you give them. They'll just like look as quickly as possible to sell that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Let me ask you this. Let me see here. Sorry, someone just came to my door. I'm assuming it's my painter. Um, all right, so you guys want to market to people who are outside of crypto, and obviously you're going to be using that like as a game, as the vehicle. But what are your plans to advertise to them? How will you reach them outside of Telegram, being that this is kind of our niche group here?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I predominantly come from the Telegram space as well, but at the same time, my background is in digital marketing. Mostly, what I've done is content distribution. So when you write an article or something like that, let's say, just as a quick example, when you look through your Google Discover feed, which I'm sure everybody does, or whatever you use to get your news, and you'll see an article from Cointelegraph that will say this coin is outpacing Ethereum by X amount, and that chances are that it's been paid for, but some of them haven't. And the way you do that is just a painstaking outreach campaign, and that's my specialty. That's right where I feel at home, is producing content, whether it's video or even just small social media content or full long and written content. Mostly our medium for this is going to be video because it's a game, it's very visual. But content distribution, I feel, is the best way to do this. thought leadership where we can get access to websites like Kotaku and Dexerto and start trying to infiltrate gamers at that kind of a level, start changing their mind slowly. The narrative is bad. The narrative to moving from crypto to gaming is bad, is that it's greedy and it's a dirty way of doing microtransactions. But I don't think it is. I think it's a smart way of doing them. It's a clean way of doing them and a way that you can easily give back to the community through doing them. The players own a real piece. I think that's the way that we want to try and brand it.
Yeah, I mean, whoever manages to use this formula and to actually bring in outside investors will be rich. I've seen so many guys come through. I mean, a lot of different games, even things like World Cup, where like they wanted to do like wagers and but they're depending on the people outside of crypto to make it work. So let's say that you have some struggles, I guess, reaching those people. Like, what's your roadmap here? Like, I guess you got an AMA with us, but what's your marketing plans here in the near future with the game coming out?
So the marketing plan over the next couple of weeks is really kind of community focused. We already have a really strong community which have given me a ton of breathing room and a ton of support, and I can't be more grateful. And it's time now to expand, to grow that community out a little bit and to bring more eyes in. I think that AMAs are the best way to do that. It's to let people know. It's just to let people know what our plans are. So let people know really deeply what we're doing. And from there, I think that we're really going to rely at the beginning when we move towards marketing the game more, we're going to heavily rely on the gamifying the process of being onboarded into crypto. And hopefully we can bounce off that. So let's say if one of the first step is to set up the MetaMask extension. We're going to seek engagement through MetaMask's official channels to get some support towards that. And from there, we can, if we are genuinely a driving force into the Binance ecosystem, we can very easily get support from backers like CZ, who that's directly aligned with their interests. So aside from just marketing the game, I'm more than confident that we can get eyes on the project, as long as we stay true to the vision that we've had from the beginning. The community can see that. I think one of the biggest things for gamers is what is ownership if they don't get to see what they want in the game. Like, take World of Warcraft, for example. The Frost Mage was broken for 9 years, and people cried about it for 9 years. And I don't know, I stopped playing games when I started having kids because I don't have time, apart from the games that I build. But that's something that I'm really, really keen to build in from the beginning. And I think the community will be there for that.
Yeah, I like your comment about not having time anymore. That you're not wrong there, man. But we still got our own hobbies. You're building games, and I'm doing my thing. But
yeah, I had to stay in touch with gaming somehow.
got to stay in touch with it somehow, man. It's I think our generation, it's nearer to our hearts than the one before us. All right. Well, let me ask a simple question. What are the rewards in? What do you win by winning a race?
Okay, so right now, the way we're going to do it is we've got two modes. There's a free ride mode where it'll kind of be like GTA, which I'll talk about that in a second. But right now, what's live is a test ride where you can test the tracks and the new vehicle physics, which I figured out just the other day. So we've got speed boosts and very Mario Karty kind of weapons and stuff like that. But right now is a gambling mode that we have on. It's wagering, it's live, it works. So right now you pay a small amount. I think it's 0.02 that I've got it set to just for testing. So I don't have to refund anybody huge amounts. But it all works. No refunds yet. So you join a game and you pay before you enter, and when you win, the winner takes all of the pot, aside from a small fee, which right now what I'm doing with that fee is just using it to cover gas, paying the winners, people that are testing. And when we release the next version, like we did with the last version, when I release the next update, we just give away that pot to the community. But that's where our revenue source will kind of come in from gambling, is we'll take a small fee from each pool, and that'll go towards buybacks in the chart. But where we're heading to, which I think is really fun, what I'm most excited about is within the next couple of weeks, where we'll be is you'll be able to open the game and you'll join, and after doing our fun little gamification of setting up a wallet, unless you hit skip, if you already have a wallet, and then you connect and you'll just be in the world. You'll just be in the town. It's a small town right now, but I mean, give it time. It'll be a city. It'll be a city soon enough. But you appear there and you'll have to drive to the track. I don't know if you ever played Burnout, but Burnout was similar. It was an open world and you had to drive to certain points where then a race would start. So that's where I want to take it, is we'll be kind of an open world and you'll have to drive to the racetrack if you want to do some gambling, or you'll be able to drive around the world and pick up different things, NFTs and stuff like that. And that'll be more of the play to earn kind of side, where it'll be not idle play to earn. Obviously, you'll have to be active, but that's where we want to take it. But right now, it's just gambling.
Yeah, no, I mean, nothing wrong with that. Is this all in the native currency? So is this all in like a Blockrider coin? Like when you buy in for the race and then the rewards, is it all the same for Blockriders?
Right now, so what our plan is because everything, I mean, the vision really truly is to onboard people onto the Binance ecosystem and to bring more people into crypto. It really is that. To keep it more accessible, that's why we sold. You don't have to have an NFT to enter the game. They're purely cosmetic. They're just skins, and we sold them fairly cheaply, 0.02. And right now, the gambling is in BNB again, just to keep it more accessible, because it's much easier for someone from outside of crypto to buy BNB. That being said, what we are going to do is we'll have 3 different gambling race modes. There'll be the one which will be a BNB race. There'll be the next one that will be a riders token race. And the third one, we're looking at adding a partnership kind of race. So it'll be a limited edition track. Like one we've got coming is one with Sea Dog, and it's more of a harbor kind of track, and it will be gambled in their token and paid out in their token. I think that's really, again, a solid way, as long as we keep our eye on the quality of projects that we push to potentially sensitive users that aren't totally familiar with the space. I think that we'll see really good results with partnerships that way as well.
Awesome, man. Okay, so right now rewards are in BNB with some plans in the future to diversify that.
Yeah.
How much does an NFT cost, and does it give the player any sort of advantage?
Right. So right now, an NFT, I think the floor price is maybe 0.05, but we sold out on the Genesis sale, and the mint price was 0.02. And each one has 6 attributes on it, and one of those attributes is a multiplier for your rewards, which works in the free ride mode. So when you collect things and you hand them in at the auto repair station, and you can get some tokens for doing that. that reward multiplier affects those. And then there's also your common, what you would expect from like a moving vehicle. We have speed, cornering, and an off-road multiplier. What the original thought was that they were just going to be straight skins. So you would, just like Fortnite, you would load up, you'd select your skin before the game, and then you would race. And then as I was developing and I was playing around with it, and I almost had the NFC integration sorted and done, and I was so happy about it. And I was playing it and I was testing it, and something was really strange and it wasn't quite working right. And what I'd done totally by accident was I'd set it up to a way that you could change the skin as you were driving, which was a really weird. I'm not sure how it bugged out like that, but we ended up. I've attached it to buttons. So now what you can do, and it gives a whole new angle to the game and to what I can do with tracks, where you can switch your vehicle as you're driving, like kind of shape shifting. So let's say there's a small kind of slip that's an off-road bit, like a shortcut. You could switch to your a vehicle that has a high off-road multiplier to use that shortcut, and then as you get out of it, just shift back to whatever vehicle has your top speed, or if it's a track with a lot of corners, you might want high acceleration because you're never going to reach that top speed. So things like that, I thought it was really cool that it added a really cool dynamic to what we could do. More skill-based,
Nice. Yeah, it's always fun to come across those little enlightenment moments of like mistakes.
Yeah.
Get it
When
all
you
the time.
think, oh, I'm going to have to fix this, and then you think, maybe not.
Yeah, man. Sometimes those are just divine interventions. All right. And I'm sorry, man. I didn't hear how much you said each NFT was in the first round. Was it 0.02?
Yes, it was 0.02 BNB.
Oh. You got any? Are you guys planning to keep it that the same, or will there be some, I don't know, maybe some epic or legendary NFTs that are more expensive?
Yeah, so what I would like to do again with the accessibility thing, and if we are marketing to gamers who are really sensitive about microtransactions, we've really got to be careful. I know there's games like EVE Online, where you've got to pay $4 million before you can even look at it, but we really need to keep this accessible. So yes, the NFTs will never cost more than probably 0.04. But most of them from here on out will be minted in the Riders token, and they will be minted inside the game in the game store. So and I think that 0.02 is probably a really solid price for an arcade kind of racing game where you're probably going to want to have 3 or 4 different vehicles. You're probably going to want to have 3 or 4 different options. So I think that's the best way to do it. So yes, 0.02 is what future releases will be, with a maximum of maybe 0.04 for a really limited run, super special edition birthday NFTs, something like that, But I can't really see us going above 0.02.
Right on. No, I like the accessibility. That's the best way to go about this. So let's go into tokenomics. First, what are the taxes in and out?
The taxes right now are 10.10. 4 goes to liquidity, 3 to marketing, and 3 go to BUSD rewards. We do we do plan on turning that down to bring us more in line with other games, but right now we're relying on that more to beef up our liquidity. At the weekend, we actually switched that structure in to be more in favor of the liquidity. So we do 8 to liquidity and 2 to BUSD rewards, which has worked great for the past 2 weekends. Our liquidity is thickened up. It's looking good. And I definitely stand by us doing that. The community has definitely stood by doing that as well. But yeah, that's where we're at. 4 liquidity, 3 marketing, 3 BUSD.
Sweet. And the BUSD rewards, where do they come into play? I thought we were earning a BNB with the races.
Yeah, so the BUSD rewards were really just as a long-term investor, a long-term hold for the token. We are a long-term project. The chart, no matter what, will grow as the revenue and game grows, and we want our holders to feel safe and secure that they're slowly bringing their investment back through the token. Rewards are a good way to do that.
Cool. Any plans to be audited in the future?
Yes, I've spoken to Spywolf just a few days ago, and some other ones also. But we will definitely be getting audited.
Nice. Okay. Let's see here. I'm gonna ask a few more questions before we jump into the community. Did you guys have a pre-sale? Was it a fair launch or?
We stealthed. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Sorry, where we stealthed. $1,000 market cap.
Nice, man. All right. There was no private or anything before that.
Sorry, say that again.
There was no any private people in there before that. Just straight stealth.
We had a really small private of around 3% of the supply, I think.
Yeah, okay. Great.
It was a really small one. It was purely just for that starting liquidity and just some early game development things.
Yeah, no, that's the way to do it, man.
Yeah.
No, I've seen too many of these privates, and then we raised the private money. Now let's have a pre-sale whitelist launch, and oh my gosh!
No, do you know what it is? It's now we've raised the party. we've raised the private. Let's have a party. That's the usual one, especially when it comes to a game.
Yeah. No, I see these guys, man. They do the same cycle over and over and over again. Like it's the definition of insanity, just expecting a different outcome from the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then, just man, like you sound pretty passionate, and I can kind of get the vibes about like your love for gaming and all that. But what was the main inspiration to just start this? Was this your first project?
This is my first project, so a little like a mini history on that is that I've been in the crypto space for a long time, and I am not a trader. I don't know, there's been a project recently, and it's about missing plays, and that is me. I'm that guy. I embody it, and recently I've started owning it. But I also I have worked on other projects with other people, delivering utilities and things like that. And I'm the outsource. I'm the guy that people outsource stuff to, and I sit in the shadows. And I think that it's been about time, which is why we've had the support that I have had, because it's just been about time that we came out of the shadows and that we built a good product.
Right on, man. No, I love it. Let me ask you maybe a more difficult question. So let's say that, well, I mean, it all ties together in the ecosystem, I guess, but just how dependent is the chart upon the life of the game? So let's say the chart is dipping hard, and you guys are having some trouble with that one, but the game is kind of a success. How would you go about that?
If the chart is dipping hard and the game is a success,
how reliant is the game on the chart itself of being successful? Like, yeah.
So right now, what we're kind of like, it's not the game's success. As it currently stands, that's why I think over the next 2 weeks we're doing this community marketing drive so that we can kind of build up our treasury a little bit before we drop those taxes. But the game itself, as long as we can market it properly, as long as our community is there and we access Discord, and we start building a Discord community, and we go where the gamers are, then the chart should grow along with the game. Even if the chart was to suddenly dump, then the revenue from the game goes directly into it. It buys tokens, and most of them are burnt, and some of them are, which we'll have to balance out. I can't give a concrete figure because we'll have to balance that out for the sustainability. But all the revenue from the game is pooled together. A bunch of it is burnt as it buys Riders tokens. Another part of it will go to marketing. But in general, I think that as the game grows, the chart will organically and beautifully.
Yeah, sometimes just guys get things built so reliant on the other, and if one fails like that, I mean, I've seen some major ambitious projects here, like a game, 5 utilities, and like, man, then one of those things goes sour, and then just everything goes south. So
yeah, it breaks the whole ecosystem. But no, I want the game to be really self-sustaining, and I'm really hoping that the gambling becomes a solid, a well-integrated part of the ecosystem, so that token taxes can come down to zero. The gambling and the other parts of the game where we can bring partnerships and we can sell NFTs, that should self-sustain it. I mean, you see other huge games out there, they don't have crypto tokens tied to them.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Yeah, man, get a look at some of those, some of your NFTs and things like that. It sounds pretty cool. But yeah, no, right on. Well, let me jump into some community questions. Let me start with the text first, guys, because I see quite a few in here. A one and only, he already answered that, buddy. The NFTs do have some attributes to them that does kind of give you a little bit of an edge. Let's see here. I think he also answered that, Regina. She's just asking, how do you intend to target professional gamers outside of the BSC Telegram groups? You mentioned Discord, but Josh, any plans to extend out to maybe Twitch?
Yeah, absolutely. So just a quick rundown on that is that we've already got a pretty strong response from the YouTube marketing that we did early on. And the reason why that I haven't set them away to roll out more is because I feel like it's a waste of money until we've got the game in a better place. But we're definitely, we'll hit Discord first and start growing our community during the next 2 weeks when we're community building. And we'll reach professional gamers through YouTube influencers and definitely Twitch. I think that a tournament is probably the best way to break into Twitch and to younger gamers is a tournament with especially kind of, obviously racing game, esports influencers.
Yeah, if you can tap into that, man, you've got it. Those are the guys, all those young guys on Twitch and Discord, man, they live and breathe gaming. If they could get their dream is to get paid as a gamer, right? Like it was every kid's dream. So maybe they don't make it in the night, but if they could make some B&B on the side, I would have loved this, dude, when I was a kid. Loved it.
Hey, I have an 11-year-old. I know. I know every kid's dream is to be a gamer.
Yeah, for sure, man. Let me see. Little Brain, we kind of answered a lot of this, but one question let me see here. What is the minimum buy-in to play the game?
So right now, the minimum buy-in is 0.02. And what we've kind of found from the feedback from that is that it's probably good for it to be a fairly low buy-in for tracks that are short and a bit of a higher buy-in for tracks that are longer. That's the feedback we've got so far, but I'm definitely open to more feedback because I am not a native gambler. So I'm relying a lot on the community letting me know what they think is best. Do you think, we can't, it's very difficult to let people type in an amount because you could potentially be waiting a long time for somebody else to come and accept that amount. So
Right.
we've got to kind of do it as entry prices for now, at least. But I'm definitely, if you want to DM me feedback, and I am way open to it.
Nice. I lost my train of thought there. I was reading another question. No, I mean, this is all gambling, anyways, man. You say you're not a gambler. I'm not a gambler either, Josh, but I do operate here on the Telegram, the BSC.
Yeah.
I just slipped like .2 into some like shitcoin yesterday and lost it. It's gone. I'm never getting it back. If you got a game that maybe if I put some skill to it, I might be able to like narrow these odds. I might take that, man.
Hey, do you know what? It's not even that. It's not even that. Have a quick look at the chart. You can sleep on this one. You can buy into it and actually sleep, which for me has just been such a huge deal because sleep is a fairly big deal to me.
Oh, yeah.
And being able to, I know for a fact that if I buy into some token that I find somewhere, I 100% guarantee you that it rugs when I'm asleep.
Almost guaranteed. There are probably 5 devs that I can sleep on. Truly, like yeah. But if you had it up for a couple of weeks, that's always a good sign, man. Like guys have at this point have gone to sleep, not worried too much about the ads.
Yeah, well, I'm really happy with that.
Let me see. All right, I was trying to actually find your chart real quick, but I found another question. One sec. I think one of your guys in here, old newbie, he might have answered this, but is there any way for participants in the race to chat with each other? Like, so being that it's gambling, maybe there's a little trash talking or something like that.
See, I come from a gaming background where some games I'm good at with PvP and some games I'm trash when it comes to PvP. The games that I'm trash at on PvP are always the games that people can talk to you on voice and they taunt you, and it's just the most horrible thing. And I sit there and I've got to listen to them until the next game loads. And yeah, I'm that guy that will unplug the PlayStation. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
So voice chat, probably not. No, but definitely. But like when you're playing poker and you can select pre-selected messages, potentially, or maybe emotes as you're driving, an emote above your car, something like that. Perhaps like a League of Legends kind of emote, maybe something like that.
Dude, Josh, you should do it like Overwatch. So Overwatch is like one of the most toxic games there is, and if you say something super nasty on the type of chat, it'll say like, let's say you say, "Oh, your mom is like ugly." It'll say your mom is like a beautiful woman who just brought everybody cookies. It just does this auto response to anything you do, and it just makes what you said nice. And then, but when you see the message, you know that the guy is saying something really bad to you. So it's pretty comical when you start to see it.
That was a pretty good one.
Let's see here. Little Brain, another good question though. Will there be any other modes or new challenges in the game to build more interest in the long term?
Yes, there will. So I touched on it a little bit earlier and kind of forgot to come back to it. Where we want to go is kind of more of a think of somewhat of a GTA type world where you'll be able to drive to the tracks and stuff if you want to race, but there'll also be character progression inside of the game as you'll be able to get out of your car, you'll be able to go and jack somebody else's ride if you feel so inclined. And I think that community events, tournaments, and the thing that we'll be introducing first is seasonal kind of gameplay, which it will be leaderboard based because that's the easiest way to do seasonal gameplay. Otherwise, how else would you do it? And I think challenges, we looked at daily rewards, as you see in most apps and stuff these days. We looked at daily rewards, and that's something that's not really feasible. We can't sustain that as well as everything else. So that got shut down fairly quickly. But challenges and things like that, perhaps bounties on particular players that have won a lot of races. I have bounties on players like that. We're exploring quite a few ideas still around how we can grow that. But I'm a one-man team. So as far as the game goes, I'm trying to develop the core things and build on top of that. So we've got new features are being added daily, flying in. If you join the Telegram channel, you can see the game updates. It's a ridiculous amount. But yeah, add more features, come up with more ideas, and we'll add more.
Right on. Good answer. Let me see. Circle had actually a very simple question. I actually don't even know. Is the game only on PC? Will it be available to mobile, Android, iOS?
All right. So the game right now is available in a browser on any desktop. And I believe it works on some Samsung tablets and on the big iPad. But what we are going to do, because it's a little bit sticky to get a play to earn, to get any kind of crypto related game onto an app store, Android or whatever, unless you sideload it into just Android. But that's never good. It's always scammy. It's like downloading a zip file. Never download a zip file from a Telegram channel. It's not a good idea. And it feels like that. So what we're going to do is it is going to be an app. The play to earn side of it will be slightly different. The gambling side of it will also be there, but it'll be slightly different. So it'll be a digital rewards currency. And that's our workaround to it. It's the same way that GME8 worked around it, and they got their ARC app approved by both Google and Apple.
Oh.
So it'll still pay out the Riders token, but you'll withdraw it. So you'll still get it one for one. You'll see it in the app and you'll see it in your wallet, but you'll withdraw it and deposit it like you do at Binance.
Okay.
You withdraw it and deposit it. It'll work the similar kind of way. So that's how we get around it breaking any kind of rules. It's a digital rewards currency, but that's how we're going to get onto the App Store.
Sounds good. Trigger, simple question. How long is liquidity locked?
Liquidity is locked right now for I think another month and a half, and we have absolutely no plans at all on not extending that for more months. Pretty much how it's been is I locked it for 2 months, and then after a month I just locked it for another 2 months, and that's how it's been. I am due to lock it again. I'll probably lock it again for another 6 months today. But like I said, we had a baby 3 days ago, and I'd just forgotten. That was all. But yeah, that's a good point, actually. I'll make a note of that, and I will lock the liquidity further today.
Good question, Trigger. Let's do the last text question here. Another, is there a limit to earning while playing the game?
There is not. The limit, I guess, would be the maximum players in a race and the maximum wager, which right now I'm really not sure what we're going to do with the maximum, but the maximum is probably going to be 0.5. The maximum you can gamble, at least for the near future, will be 0.5 BNB, which in a race with 8 players is 4 BNB minus a small fee of, I would say, something like 0.2. That's your max. 4.8 beans.
Okay. All right. That's some high stake races right there. 0.5. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let me see. Hitman. Sorry, but I'm looking for your name. Yeah. SOD Hitman. You said you had a question in the VC. Go for it, buddy. If you are here, good sir. If anybody has a question in the VC, go ahead and jump in. SOD. There you are, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, boss.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hey, man.
How you doing?
Vincent, just, let's let SOD go real quick, and then you can go right after him, okay?
All right.
SOD, did you have a question, buddy?
Of course I do.
Okay, go for it, man.
All right. First and foremost, I want to know, when we mint these NFTs for the game, we are actually putting in some kind of funds back into the ecosystem. But I really want to know what all these funds we are bringing back there will be used for. So the money or the revenue generated from NFT mintings, where are they being put into in the ecosystem itself?
So the NFTs that we're minting in Riders tokens will all be burnt. A small percentage of it, and which again I can't give a super concrete answer because this is probably going to be a variable rate, because we have to balance that sustainability. But a small percentage of the Riders tokens or Riders tokens NFTs will also then be put back into the play to earn ecosystem. So that's mostly where the NFT revenue will go to. It's purely just to keep the game so it's self-sustaining. Whereas we'll also do limited runs in B&B, which again, a percentage of that will go to buybacks. Right now in the white paper, that's at 60%, which could change in the future. It depends really on how big the game's infrastructure needs to be. So right now, the revenue that will go to buybacks is 60% from B&B minted NFTs. And the other 40% will go towards the infrastructure of the game, like servers, whereas right now we use a cluster-based server. So as new people join, as we need to increase the server capacity, we just add a new node to that cluster, and we don't really have to worry about it until we have to start adding new clusters, which then is when you hire network administrators, which some of that 40% will also go towards. But most of the NFTs will be minted in Riders tokens, and it will be to support the ecosystem.
Okay, so if I really get that correct, you will be burning some of the money you got from it, and you'll be putting some back into the game pool, and the rest will go into the game management itself.
Yeah, over 60% of Riders tokens from NFTs will be burnt, and the others will go into the game's ecosystem.
All right. So for some teams as well, they do have their own marketplace. I'm sorry if you said something about that. I got some kind of network issue earlier on, so maybe I missed that. Are you going to be having your own marketplace for the NFT trading?
We do have plans. I do have the plan to build it, and I'll be honest with you, I did the design for it, and I got maybe halfway through building it using Morales's API. But it's right now it's just not a priority. I need to get the game to a point where it's solid early access, and we have the user progression and things like that. And then, yes, a purpose-built marketplace where you can filter by the attributes on the NFTs and things like that is definitely where we're heading.
Okay, so for now, we're going to be using the third-party marketplace.
Tofu. Yes. Okay. Yes, I would say that is probably roadmaps for, I'd say, around 30 days from now. It's going to take me a full three days or so to get that production ready, and I'd say we're probably around 20 days away from me having 3 days free to do it.
Okay, lastly, there is this particular thing that keeps happening in real life when you're playing, when you're playing your game, maybe with somebody in real life, you will be having this kind of network glitches when maybe your network, something happened, or maybe a call got into your phone and then your phone disconnected, the game disconnected, and you will be awarded the loss, But in this kind of scenarios, we will be having to fight head on head with somebody, maybe not just maybe reward is involved. I'm kind of curious if you've actually put that into consideration while building your game to make sure that a slight shift in network signal or strength did not really cost one person it's his right. And if that happens, are there options whereby you come back to the game, you can actually resume your game from where you stopped or where the network cut you out? or some kind of a grace period?
Yes, it is a difficult one for sure, because no matter what, somebody is going to expect to get paid from that race, right? So yeah, we've definitely looked at different options, and one of them is a grace period. The other, which was the first thing that I tried, and coming from a gaming background, I don't know why I tried this, but I tried if somebody disconnects, the game pauses, and that was a horrible or a terrible workaround, which did not work well at all. But yes, that is something that we are still looking into, and I think that right now, the way that it's going is that it will kind of be on a ticket sort of based system. Whereas the races aren't going to be that long. So barring a disconnect, which we'll be able to see in the logs on the admin side, then if you join a race and you quit, then yeah, you've lost your money. But if you disconnect, we should be able to see that and line it up with the transaction on the block. And that can then just be refunded to people. I mean, that's the easiest way to deal with it, is if there is a disconnect, then we can easily see it and we can line it up with the transaction on the block and we can get you refunded. But we'll also kind of base it on a ticket-based system so that we're not flooded with requests for that. People disconnect, you're awarded a ticket to get into a race.
Oh, okay. That's pretty interesting. I will also drop one more suggestion. Maybe you can also look into it this way. You give time frame, maybe 30 seconds or 1 minute. You have it to return to the game. If you don't return to the game, then you suffer the loss yourself. Because I mean, how many people do you want to refund in a day?
Yeah, yeah, there has to be a grace period for sure. Absolutely, that's a really good idea. I think I'm going to write that one down.
Thank you very much, brother, for your time. And yeah, sorry.
No, thank you, man.
If any.
Thank you. Thank you, Hitman. Very good questions. Vincent, you're up, sir. Go right ahead.
All right. Yeah. Hey, thanks for the opportunity. Now, my question is about the tokenomics. I read in the website, and like you said, the percentage for buy and sell is 10%, right?
Yeah.
Is there any possibility in the future where it will go beyond that? And would there be any more utilities built on the long run?
Sorry, so we do plan on reducing the taxes. Was that your question?
Yeah, is there any possibilities it will go beyond that? Because there are some projects I've been into, they will say like the mass tax is 5%, and all of a sudden they increase it to 15% or that kind of stuff.
Right, yeah. No, absolutely not. Not now, not ever. That is the most frustrating. I hate jumping taxes around and hopping taxes around. That's one of the worst possible things that anyone can ever do ever. Because people always say,
that's so tiring.
Yeah, people always say zero buy tax and double sell tax for an hour, and 3 days later it's still double sell tax. So no, we will never ever do that, because I don't think that it's fair to long-term investors or just to anybody, really. It's just unnecessary. Yeah, we're 10-10 for now, and we do plan on reducing it periodically, probably 8-8 and then 6-6, until we no longer rely on the investment from the token. Once we're relying on the revenue from the game, we'll drop that tax. We have no need for it.
All right, cool. I love your audition. So I want
that
to
was a great question, man. Thank you.
About the this is a reward token, right? You reward in BUSD or BNB?
BUSD.
Okay, BUSD. All these rewards and token, they always have issues with contracts, buying and selling. We have, a remedy for that, because most times the contracts, buying and selling always keep the chart unhealthy and scare off JITs and, investors. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. But once we can lower that tax and we can change the swap back on the contracts, mostly right now, we're just looking at building our liquidity, strengthening the liquidity pool.
Yeah, you're right. If the liquidity pool is too strong, it's gonna, contain all of that. All right. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for the answering my question, Josh. I really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Vincent. Good questions, buddy. I saw another hand raised. Medusa or anyone else? We have time for maybe one or two more questions, and we got to let the dev go. One last question from anyone?
Hey, hello, Josh. How you doing? Hi, Domzo.
Go ahead, buddy.
Hey, man.
Yeah. So while looking through your white paper, and I probably have missed this, you mentioned, the poly-yard DAO, I think taking control of the game development. Can you share more insights into this?
Yeah, so Polyarc is my gaming studio, and it's essentially just the backbone of how I want to move forward. So for a long time, I touched on it a little bit. For a long time, I've worked on different projects and delivered different utilities, and I can guarantee that every one of you in here has used at least 2 utilities that I have built in the crypto ecosystem, and you'll have no idea ever that I ever had anything to do with them. And that's a little bit of it. A little bit of it is that Polyarc is my hello to the world.
Very cool.
Okay, so how does the DAO come into place?
Right.
Or
so
is that the name
roughly,
of the company?
Kind of. So roughly how it'll work is the DAO has governance, and I will release a governance token. I don't really want to talk about that here because that's not what I'm here for. But what we'll do with it is we'll have a small treasury, and early investors will have the governance token, and anybody who wants to buy the governance token can have governance, and you'll be able to vote on proposals on major changes to games that I produce. So we have most people that are involved at an early stage, and people who know me personally know a lot about the other games that I've slowly been building, and that's kind of where that ties in. But I'm just not quite ready. I've had so much to do, man, that I honestly I wanted to roll some of that out already, but I've had so much to do that right now we're just focused purely on the Blockriders product itself, and Polyarc has taken not a backseat, but it's standing aside whilst we build something. The market's right for it, I think.
Well, Greek, I hope that answers.
Yeah, I think that's fine. One thing I would just want to, just a follow up.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so what I was trying to point out was, if at any point, the DAO from the Polyarch would have to make.
I think you got cut off, Greg.
Yeah, sorry, man.
I feel the Blockrider community in itself should have, I feel the Blockrider community should have more power over the decisions on the game than the Polyarch DAO. Just voting on changes on games that are affecting Blockrider investors. So I sincerely do not think it would be nice for some DAO holders to vote on the future of a game that
totally agree.
that I'm holding the token separately.
I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. So what I meant is the DAO. What the DAO will do is mostly their votes are going to be how the DAO treasury money is spent. But so far with Blockriders, aside from my ideas and my kind of core foundation of the game, most of it's come from the community. Speed boosts, respawn button, hitting the sand and your car slowing down, hitting the barrier and sparks coming from your car, a mute button. It's all community. It's all been suggestions from the people that have played it, and it's all been implemented based on their very suggestions. So what the DAO will do is the DAO will manage how funds are spent and how the treasury is moved from one game to the other, or where it is spent in the game. But the game itself is owned, is built, is everything, is all about the players, is everything about the players. We'll give the NFTs out for free, but we need the Riders tokens to come back into the ecosystem so that it's self-sustaining. Otherwise, I would give all of this away for free. But that's how we keep things self-sustaining. That's how we keep the ecosystem moving. But I definitely see where you're coming from there. But no, 100%, the DAO will purely manage the treasury. The game is managed by the players, and it always will be. And it always has been from the very beginning.
Awesome.
Well, good question,
Awesome.
great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Josh, everyone, I think that we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But Josh, if you could just leave us something in closing before I end the recording.
Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your questions. Thank you to all of the Blockriders community, and for my amazing wife, who I'm looking at right now through the window, who somehow has managed to have a baby whilst we've been doing all this. Wow. Yeah, and thank you for everyone for supporting, and you should buy Blockriders. You should play the game. And I think that's all.
Nice one. There we go.
Thank